Are you ready for deeper meaning and bigger dreams in your life? Do you believe it can happen? Amy and LoriAnn are here to clear the confusion and help you live life full out, guided by your inner wisdom to create, amplify, and align you with your highest self. Are you ready to attract a divinely blessed life? This is Living in the Faith Frequency.
Welcome to Living in the Faith Frequency podcast with LoriAnn and Amy. We are here today and talking about our extreme stories. So we all have them, and Amy and I were just talking about it. She had a time this weekend where they were with a lot of family, and she started having great times and great adventures and great conversations, connecting so deeply, and then these extreme stories started happening, and it just can derail you so quickly. So Amy, share with us a little bit about how these extreme stories really come into our lives, sometimes quicker than we realize, and then what we do to help ourselves through it.
Yeah, and I think right now we're going through the holidays and being around family and friends. And if you enjoyed yourself, then there's some sadness stepping away from it. I actually had 4 days and it was a really wonderful. I saw a lot of people and friends and then after it was all done and over with, I'm sitting on the sofa and I'm noticing these thoughts going through my head that are so extreme, like just coming off a high. And I think we get these dopamine hits when we have connection, when we have joy. I think our body releases these hits of endorphins. And then when they disappear, we're like, oh, something's wrong. And that's when the extreme stories start happening. So I was able to catch that and recognize it, not necessarily in the moment, but in reflection. And I think that's an important piece, is taking time to just reflect and observe, what were you feeling and what were you thinking that brought the feelings on? Because so much of the time we think our feelings are from our situations, but it's from our perspective about the situation that we're in. It's our stories that we create about how we're going through it. And a lot of times we're really hard on ourselves, oh, I should have done this, or I should have done that. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. And there's a lot of pressure. I hear a lot of talk now about peace over pressure. Well, how do you release the pressure? And it's part of my Oasis approach. It's called softening the stories.
Right.
The extreme stories creates the hell that we live in. And the softened stories brings us back into this heavenly state where we can see a broader, bigger picture of life, because our mind will tell us in this moment, this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life. And I'm going to live in this despair, this frustration, this anger. And our mind just makes it feel like it's going to be there forever. And so there's little mantras. I'm kind of going back when I started being a coach. There was little mantras that I use to bring awareness to myself. And it's oh, this is just a moment. Just temporary. And reminding yourself, whatever you're feeling, your feelings are always just temporary, good or not good. They're temporary.
Right.
And if we can remember that, then we can kind of pull ourselves out of the extreme stories that we all have.
You're saying exactly what happened to me, because I just left my grandkids and I got a little bit sad because I started having extreme stories. I don't know when I'm going to see them again. They're getting so much bigger. Are they going to remember me? I hope that they enjoyed this time we had together. It's over now, and I really started having these melancholy, sad, just like I wasn't having a lot of energy, wanted to just lay around. And I kept telling myself I was exhausted, I'm tired, I'm sad that I left my kids. And I'm aware of what I was doing, and I just kept giving myself that excuse. Well, you just drove 15 hours, you're tired, you deserve this, take a break. And I do take care of myself, but I could tell this was being an extreme story because I don't know when's the next time that we're going to see each other. And it just seems so long. And I was enjoying all the hugs and the squeezes and grandma, I love you. And, come sit by me and being so needed and wanted, and then you come back to just your regular life, right? So I love what you said about being able to recognize like, and say, this is not going to last forever. This is just, in the moment. So,
Yeah. And so reflection is an important piece. I was trying to like break down like what are some steps that our listeners can use when they have those moments that are low and draining, and then they recognize, oh, I've got a real extreme story going on in my mind. And I do think just reflecting and knowing what am I telling myself about this situation. But the second thing I think is remembering and appreciating and drawing back the good memories. Even when I think about John,
mhm,
I when I find myself in moments of sadness and missing him, I as I remember what I loved about him and great moments that we had, instead of thinking, oh, they're not there anymore, I think, oh my gosh, this is the life that I lived, and I was so blessed to have that. Oh, and he all of that is still with me. And I think when we go into appreciation, it's one of the highest vibrational states. It's equivalent to love. And when you look in the Bible, God is love. It's that frequency where you are feeling appreciation for your life versus like it's being depleted or it's going away.
mhm,
And I think the more that we feel blessed, the better we feel. And so when you know, you remember all the hugs from your grandkids, it's like, I'm so loved. And then you can bring that feeling instantly back of, aren't I so blessed to have all of these grandkids and these kids and so much love and this family. And
yeah,
then I think you can also begin to plan fun. And
yeah,
even if it's a year from now, I have a fun calendar that when I was working so many hours, I'm like, I gotta get. So someone told me the other day, if I'm not in your calendar, it doesn't happen. So I just need to be in your calendar. And so I created a fun calendar so I would make sure I was scheduling fun. And that means getting out of my house, going somewhere. Like
yeah,
I love to experience life. I don't want a dull life. And I, sometimes you're on a budget and I'm trying to cut back on spending, but you can still do things that excite you. And I think, just going back to the appreciation piece, I think even just sharing, like
mm,
after my 4-day weekend, I sent a message and just told him how much I appreciated the weekend and what I enjoyed about it. And so you can keep that appreciation alive by sharing and letting people know what you enjoyed. But then also planning ahead, like even if it's next year, get excited about creating your next experience. Who do you want to see? Or you could even ask who who might be lonely right now? Who's going through a hard time? Who needs to hear I'm thinking of you?
yeah,
And getting out of our own self of feeling sorry, because it's normally when I feel bad, I'm having a pity party for myself. I'm like, my life sucks when really it doesn't. I just think it does for the moment because I'm sitting in the house all by myself. But if I can get out of myself and say, think about someone else and how can I uplift someone that might be going through a hard time, or just I've learned that just someone reaching out, knowing that you're being thought about, is such a kind and caring gesture.
I agree. I know that my husband is a great example of that because we have a mutual friend that just lost his wife. And my husband has just thought how, lonely that would be. And so whenever he comes across anything funny that he thinks will make this guy laugh or will be funny, he'll send it to him. And he pretty much sends him something, if not daily, about every other day. And he hasn't missed. He has been very diligent about sending him things. And we were able to see this guy in person this week. And he gave him the biggest hug and just thanked him for sending those messages to him and how much it really has meant to him that somebody has cared. And even though it's been, a little while since his wife passed, he still is showing up. And I think that's the difference, is still showing up for people.
Yes. I love that. And when that's what carried me through all of my lonely moments, was a friend reaching out, and just, I'm thinking about you. And
You've got a pretty good system in place for, that would be good to share. I know we've shared it a little bit before, but you've got a pretty good system that you've put in place so that when you do start, spiraling or going, you've got a set of friends to reach out to and people to call. And
yeah, and I think that's important. I always told my daughter, like, if you want to have friends, you got to be a friend.
Mhm.
And what I found was I was always pouring into people, and then when I needed it the most, all those people were pouring into me, and I received that. So, wherever you're at, if you can pour into people and just let them know that you're thinking about them, um, wanting them to have a blessed day, or wishing them a birthday or happy birthday, or whatever it is, just taking time to get out of our own stuff for a few minutes and let people know that you care. I just think we live in such a high technology world that the human touch, the human connection, is a really important thing. And what I found is all the people that I've poured into, it has been amazing how they have poured back into me at times when I have needed it. And I just think there is this beautiful give and receive. I think of like the infinity sign: when you give and then it's received, there is a connection. And that is what it's what makes us feel alive, is when we can feel connected with another human being. And even our calls, I look forward to every week. We get on the call, I'm like, oh, good, I get to talk to LoriAnn, and who knows what we're going to talk about and what we're going to share. But it excites me because you've been such a dear friend before, during, after, the whole John's transition and stuff. And we give each other permission to enjoy life and also to feel the down moments. And I think that's really important, to have a safe space where, and to have friends, that it's not always happy, but it's also a space where you can feel anything and everything, and be supported. And you don't have to stay there, but people need a space to just vent, get it out, and then reframe into a new perspective and move forward from it.
I think that is the main key in what we are trying to share with people who are in their lows, is really, how do you get out of that low? And it truly is, think about somebody else and reach out to them and uplift another person. Anytime you serve somebody else, or do, and it could even be somebody in your own home. It's not like you've got to do some grand thing. It could just be smiling at the neighbor, waving at the neighbor, just, cleaning your daughter's room. Whatever little piece of service that you could give or do, truly start switching things around. And I read the other day that going into your phone and looking in your phone at your pictures that you have taken of family members or your animals, your beautiful little dogs and cats, and any of your animal pictures, your family, anything, it will increase that oxytocin, that wonderful drug inside our own body that can release when we are doing something that brings us joy. So it could be something just as simple as that. And then getting up, movement will create emotion. So any kind of movement will change your emotional state. If it's, just standing up, walking, moving your arms a little bit, skipping, jumping, getting, a little bit of exercise, getting out of your house, breathing some fresh air. Any of those things are so important to change and elevate yourself.
Yeah, and it's the willingness to do something for yourself. And when you have just a willingness, even just to move into another room, drive in your car, whatever you can muster up, a willingness to do something for yourself. Listen to music, look at pictures, those are all fantastic ideas. But when you care about how you feel, you'll do something for yourself. And when you do something for yourself, it's so much easier to do for others. Then you've got a whole nother experience that you get to have connections with others when you can get out of those low states.
Amy, today I just started thinking, what do I want to read just to change things? And this book just popped out at me, and I thought I need to put that on my desk and just be reminded about our sweet John and the wingman and the great advice and the everlasting love, like what it says on the very front of a person's life, and that he was able to get this book published and delivered on his celebration of life. This whole book just came together so divinely. And I think, man, if you really do need a lift of any kind, get the book that Amy and John Anfinson put together called The Wingmen. And it's on Amazon. People can get it on Amazon, but that it really is something that just shows you the devastation of something that somebody is going through and experiencing, and that every single day of our lives is a gift. Every breath we take is a gift. And like Amy just said, being able to willingly give yourself that gift is so powerful.
I love that you brought his book back and that you're going to start reading it. I'm going to pull it out as well, and have him present. And I also have such appreciation for you and also Judy Cochran, who helped put this book together. And it was a project of love, and I have such appreciation, and I think it has helped me to heal. And I think it helped John to feel peace, to know that his words and his messages were going out into the world, and that there was something that people could that he could serve even when he wasn't physically here, and that he's helping from the other side, and he is the wingman. He's helping from the other side. And so and he, his nickname when we went through coaching was Global Father. And I've never met a more loving human being. He just had this fatherly energy towards anybody that he met. And
Mm-hmm.
so as you read the book, you get to feel him, you get to experience the love that he had, and the peace while he was going through his transition. It was quite amazing. It was such a healing process to be able to make that, and to let him know that he was becoming a published author, like
Yeah.
11 days after he passed. Quite amazing.
Yeah, so beautiful, so sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Amy, for sharing today and for being able to continue to show up for your life and your transformation that you're going through and the things that you're acknowledging and allowing to happen, and for the love that you're bringing into your life and all the people that you are transforming and working with. I know that you've even been taking on a few new clients, and that has been so great. There's so many things in the work that are being divinely guided because you're living in this faith frequency. You're truly having the faith and knowing and allowing that you're on the right path. You're doing the things that you need to do. And when you start having those stories that start creating the chaos, you know the steps, to be able to talk it out, to be able to work through it, and to get, that sabotage that's happening all back into alignment. And we truly are our best when we're aligned.
Yes, we are. Remembering everything is temporary, and you can find your way back into having faith that everything really does continue to work out for you, and it's better and better, and they're just moments. So soften those extreme stories and keep living in the faith frequency, and click subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Living in the Faith Frequency. Keep shining, keep aligning, and keep trusting your inner guidance as you live your life full out. We are here to guide you as you step confidently into your faith journey. Be sure to subscribe and stay connected. Check out the show notes and let us know what topics would you like to hear next. On behalf of Amy and LoriAnn, we want you to keep talking, keep dreaming, and keep feeling blessed.